Agony and grief. None is free of agony and grief, but the believer knows that nothing can occur without the permission of Allah, and his faith in fatalism, that is, what has happened, had to happen, is unshakable. He hasn't an iota of doubt that Allah is perfect and all his decisions are perfect. None is, I repeat, none is free of agony and grief, but the believer knows that nothing can occur without the permission of Allah. And his faith in fatalism, that is, what has happened, had to happen, is unshakable. He hasn't an iota of doubt that Allah is perfect and all his decisions are perfect. He doesn't blame the fate or others, but his own shortcomings for his failures. And he takes assistance from sabr, patience, perseverance, and salah, prayers to get over the difficult trying days. Once the Prophet, peace be upon him's lamp went off, he recited, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. To Allah we belong, and to him we return. Someone inquired, O Prophet of Allah, is the going of the lamp also a calamity? The Prophet said, yes, whatever hurts a moment, faithful believer, is a calamity. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, yes, whatever hurts a moment, peaceful believer, is a calamity. The Prophet said, when in grief, the person who tears the shirt, slaps the cheeks, shouts and wails is not from my ummah. Tirmidhi. Happy occasions. Human beings should feel happy at happy occasions. The Qur'an states, Surah 57 Al-Hadid, verse 30, translation, and don't become arrogant, proud on getting the bounties which Allah has bestowed on you. Allah doesn't like the arrogant, proud, and those who bragged to be superior. Occasions of happiness like Eids, marriages, arrivals of the dear ones, and guests are celebrated within the norms of Sharia. Dancing and music, for example, are not permitted in Islam. Dancing and music are not permitted in Islam. Even at occasions, times of rejoicing, celebration, a believer remains with the psyche of constant shukr, gratefulness to Allah for having provided these occasions of happiness. When the Prophet, peace be upon him, entered Medina for the first time on Hijrat, permanent migration, AD 622, people rejoiced on his arrival, and certain girls recited some poems using daf, a sort of a small drum beaten with hands. The Prophet, peace be upon him, later stopped them. However, since then daf is permitted at occasions of marriage, Eid, etc. Hazrat Aisha Razilullah Tana arranged a marriage of a woman among her relatives with an Ansari. When the bride was sent with the groom, the Prophet, peace be upon him, addressing Aisha, said, why didn't you send a maid with the bride who could have sung and played daf? Bukhari. So, walima, a compulsory food function after the consummation, should also be celebrated with songs and daf. The people would know of the marriage. At all occasions of rejoicing, happiness, the Muslims remember Allah more and remain grateful for his blessings. The Prophet said, the Jews and Christians celebrate one festival annually. We'll have two Eids. Bukhari. The Eid celebrations begin with special salah to be offered en masse by all the adult male citizens as a measure of thanks to Allah. Now, dealing with disbelievers at the last. The Quran states, that is Surah 11 Hud verse 113, Surah 4 Al-Nisa verse 114. O believers, don't take the disbelievers as your protecting friends against the interest of the faithful believers. Do you want to earn the blatant, clear-cut vengeance of Allah by taking the disbelievers as friends? Again, Surah 11, Hud verses 113. And don't ever get inclined towards those who are unjust, that is, the disbelievers, agnostics, transgressors, lest you be taken by the fire of hell, and you have absolutely none to protect against the wrath of Allah. You will not find assistance, refuge anywhere in both the worlds. And lastly, Surah 5, Maida, verse 51. Translation: O believers, don't make friends with the Jews and the Christians. They are friends unto each other, and the one among you who makes friends with them is from them, will be counted among the Jews, Christians on the day of judgment, as his heart, because as his heart and orientation is actually with them, because his heart and orientation is actually with them. Allah doesn't guide such people who exceed. Brothers and sisters, with this I come to the end. I thank you for diverting your valuable time. May Allah Almighty reward you for it. Jazakallah khairan.